Do you guys remember the legendary movie from our childhood, The Lion King? In that movie, I used to think Mufasa was the ultimate dad goals. But then recently, Disney released a new version of it in 2024, and I was like, wait, it was all a lie? What if Mufasa was actually the real villain? I know, blasphemy, how dare I, etc., etc. But hear me out. Scar just a product of Mufasa's manipulative, self-righteous reign? Think about it. Mufasa preached the circle of life, but it only worked because he was at the top of it. And when Scar finally tried to free himself from Mufasa's dictatorship, he was painted as the villain. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Okay, so first let's talk about Mufasa's hypocrisy. Ever stop to think about it?
But let me explain. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so, we are all connected in the great circle of life.
He's out here preaching the whole circle of life thing, but who's actually benefiting from it? It sure isn't the hyenas, it's not Scar, and definitely not anyone stuck outside the parts of the kingdom the light touches. Nah, it's Mufasa, the so-called king, who's really reaping the rewards of this circle. It's all just a way for him to hold on to power while the rest are left in the shadows. Let's rewind to that iconic opening scene, where animals gather and everyone's bowing to baby Simba like he just ended centuries of wars. Dude can't even hold his head up properly yet. Like, come on, that's straight up propaganda. And guess who masterminded this entire show? Yup, Mufasa. He's just standing there on Pride Rock like some messiah, while all the other animals adore him. Animals he's probably gonna have for dinner later. You might think that Mufasa guy leads by example, but in reality, he's just a big dumb dude whose word is law. Because he's strong, has that deep James Earl Jones voice, and roars louder than everyone else. Meanwhile, Scar is the one with actual brains. Like, he's a sharp guy who could outsmart his enemies and actually use his wits to defend the kingdom. Just think about it. Where Mufasa's only plans seem to start and end with roar louder, Scar actually has the brains to strategize and secure his kingdom. Yeah, I get it. Scar's bitter and scheming, but come on, let's not pretend Mufasa is some saint here. Dude treated Scar like he's some low-key NPC. Remember when he hit him with that,
"Is that a challenge?"
He was basically saying, bro, you're a scrawny twig, sit down. And let's be real, Scar wasn't even plan B for the throne. He was just there, existing in the shadows, getting zero love. It's not just Scar getting done dirty, let's talk about the hyenas. They're banished to the elephant graveyard, a place so dead even grass said, nah, I'm out. Mufasa straight up tells Simba,
what about that shadowy place?
That's beyond our borders. You must never go there.
He literally means that we don't care about whoever lives there. Like, why are the hyenas painted as villains? Because they're hungry? Because they're just trying to survive in a system that screws them over? Mufasa and his crew treat them like pests, but really, they're just stuck in the same trash system Scar's mad about. Mufasa intentionally made Scar and the hyenas his enemies to make himself look like the mighty king. He created all the drama, like setting a fire just to look like the hero putting it out. But you know what happens when you keep ignoring people's struggles and lording your power over them? The cracks start to show. Scar didn't just wake up one day and decide to take over. He'd spent years being pushed aside and mocked. The hyenas, they were starving and desperate. Mufasa's kingdom wasn't perfect, it was unfair, and when everything finally blew up, well, Scar just happened to be the one to light the match. You know, Scar gets a lot of hate, but I don't think he ever stood a chance to be anything but the bad guy. From the start, he was set up to fail. Mufasa was the golden boy, and Scar, just the shadow. Imagine being born into royalty, but no one even bothers to hide the fact that your big brother is the golden child destined for greatness. Mufasa was stronger, louder, and destined to rule, while Scar, smarter, sure, but brains don't matter much when your brother's roar shakes the whole savannah. And it wasn't just me guessing, there's proof. In the prequel, Mufasa, the Lion King, there's a scene where Scar actually saves Mufasa's life. Yeah, he messed up earlier by setting him against the white lions, but he tried to make things right. Scar even apologized. But Mufasa? Nah, he wasn't having it. He clung to his grudge and kept Scar on the outside, never really letting him back in. The prequel also shows that Mufasa wasn't perfect either. He had his own struggles. He felt like he wasn't good enough, like he couldn't live up to his parents' expectations, especially his dad. Maybe that's why he became so controlling. He needed to prove he was the king. But Scar didn't just sit there feeling sorry for himself. He waited, watched, figured out the system, and found its cracks. Mufasa had his muscles and charm, but Scar had strategy. He even gave the hyenas, the ones Mufasa ignored, a reason to hope for something better. Sure, like, his methods weren't exactly ethical. I'm not saying dropping your brother into a wildebeest stampede is noble. Can you really blame him for taking his shot? After everything, Mufasa had it coming. Yes, let's be honest, Scar gets way too much blame for what happened to the kingdom. He inherited a mess. The land was already drying up, resources were running out, and honestly, that probably started under Mufasa's rule. And then there's the elephant graveyard, a creepy, forbidden land full of bones, mystery, and hyenas. When Simba and Nala sneak off to explore, what does Mufasa do? He swoops in like a hero, lectures Simba about danger, and blames Scar for leading him astray. But wait, why is this place even forbidden in the first place? The hyenas didn't choose to live in a wasteland of bones. They were pushed there, left to starve, while Mufasa's kingdom kept all the fertile land and resources, and somehow Mufasa acts like the hyenas are the problem. That's classic gaslighting. And instead of teaching Simba why the graveyard is dangerous, Mufasa just gets mad, scares off the hyenas, and struts around like he saved the day. But does he ever stop to think about the bigger picture, like how unfair his kingdom is? Nope, he's too busy being king. You know Mufasa's favorite line, right? Everything the light touches is our kingdom. But let's be real, when he says our, he means my kingdom. It's all about power and control. When Simba's curious about the world, Mufasa shuts him down with a vague warning.
You must never go there, Simba.
No explanation, no chance for Simba to understand. It's not about teaching Simba to think for himself, it's about keeping him in line. And look where that got him, lost in the wilderness, singing Hakuna Matata instead of learning how to lead. The double standards don't stop there. When Scar challenges Mufasa, it's treason. But when Simba challenges Scar, it's destiny. Why? Because Mufasa said so. That's not wisdom, that's propaganda. And let's not forget, Mufasa's not running this show alone. Every politician has a sneaky advisor, and Mufasa has Rafiki. Oh, yeah, your favorite wise old baboon with his magical staff and mysterious advice isn't the wise guide you think he is. He is a puppet master. He's the monarchy's biggest supporter, the one pulling the strings behind the scenes. Remember when Simba was born? Rafiki anoints him, paints a little sunrise on his forehead, and announces to everyone, "This baby will be king!" No questions, no debate, just Rafiki deciding the future like some royal PR agent. And when Mufasa dies, does Rafiki help Scar bring the kingdom together? Nope, he vanishes, waiting for Simba to come back. Then when Simba finally shows up, Rafiki's all
It is time.
like he's been planning this all along. He doesn't care about fixing the kingdom's problems, drought, famine, hyenas. It's not his concern. Rafiki's job is done as long as a lion with Mufasa's blood sits on the throne. Even that remember who you are moment,
Father?
that's not Mufasa's ghost magically appearing. That's Rafiki manipulating Simba, dragging him into a foggy vision to guilt him into taking the throne. If that's not emotional manipulation, I don't know what is. If you don't believe my words, just go and rewatch The Lion King with a fresh perspective. Look closely at the cracks beneath Mufasa's shiny kingdom. Notice how things aren't as perfect as they seem, and the next time you hear Mufasa's deep booming voice echoing from the clouds, ask yourself, is this the king we should be rooting for?